Overall, it's probably the worst book I've ever read. Hi everybody! Welcome to the first reading vlog for the Reading Rush Challenge. It is 4 p.m. on day 1, July 20th, and I'm about 20% of the way through Geek Love by Catherine Dunn. I'm reading it on Kindle. I have to say that I'm not completely sold on it yet, but it's very interesting. I've been kind of slow going today getting started. I just kind of had a rough night. I played a lot of Animal Crossing. Unfortunately, dealing with a deer that has decided to like decimate our tomato garden, which is super sad. So if you look, every single just stem has been bitten off. And like there were tomatoes all over this before. There were tomatoes all over in there before. And I heard that putting Irish Spring shavings, like of the soap Irish Springs, can kind of deter them. So we'll see if that works. I don't know. So anyway, besides the deer problems, I've been having an okay day. So far with Geek Love, the way that this book is written is kind of hard for me to follow. I feel like everyone has too many names, and they're kind of like interchangeably referred to these names, and I struggle with that a little bit. And then on top of that, I'm struggling a little bit with the subject matter. I mean, I knew it was about human experimentation, which, you know, is a troubling subject, but I think learning that the parents of the kids did this on purpose, and kind of just the psychology that they have, the mentality that they have about purposefully giving their kids these kind of mythical peculiarities is just very strange. And so I'm trying to kind of wrap my head around that. Obviously, it's not a realistic book since one of the kids has like flippers instead of hands and feet. The entire premise is just like very magical realism-ish. So I'm interested to keep reading. I've never read anything like it before, and I'm definitely interested in it, but I would say that I'm a bit slow going through it. Hi everybody. As you can probably guess, it is not a nightly wrap-up, it is the next day. I think it's about 1:45 p.m. right now, and I am only a little over halfway. I don't know what it is, but something about this book is really slowing me down. I mean, I do know what it is. It's super disturbing, and I'm really slow at reading it because I'm having a hard time like getting an image in my head of what's going on, because it's kind of like disarming and like a little disturbing, a lot of the scenes. Yeah, and so for some reason I'm like really struggling to get through this book. I'm gonna give myself a couple hours to try to get a really good pace on it and try to like blow through this book, and if not, I'm probably just gonna move on to a different book that I can get through more easily so I can get some momentum going. I'm kind of regretting picking this book as a challenge because it is so disturbing and like heavy with its subject matter, and I didn't really know that going into it, obviously. I mean, I knew that there was probably some disturbing parts of it, but I don't know, it's titled Geek Love, so I guess part of me didn't really understand the extent to which it would be disturbing. I didn't even give you guys a wrap up yesterday because I kind of had just a horrible ending to my day. Like I broke my phone. I just was really stressed out. It was like too hot to move yesterday. It was, I don't know, it was not a fun time. I had a rough start to this challenge, but I'm going to finish no matter what. Even if I have to like stay up all night for the rest of the week, I will finish this. I'm just a little bit discouraged and sad and regretting choosing this as my first book for the challenge, to be honest, because if any of you have read this, you know what I'm talking about. There are just so many like grotesque descriptions. There's just so much body horror. I don't even know how to say this. I think it's the fact that there's so much like disturbing psychological stuff going on. Like the parents are obviously super deranged. Like The kids, I mean, I feel bad for them because they're, you know, stuck in an environment that's like super detrimental. So I don't know. I do love circus books. I like books about the carnival. I expected it to be kind of seedy and stuff like that and gritty, and there's no problem with that type of thing. Without spoiling it, I think it's just where it veers into territory that is like super taboo and like just really, really disturbing. And so that's all I'll say for now. I will update you guys in a few hours, I promise. Hi everybody, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update before I go for a run. So I'm about 80%, a little over 80% of the way through Geek Love right now, and I have to say that I would definitely not be finishing this book if it weren't for the fact that I committed to reading it for this reading challenge. I want to quit. I don't want to finish reading it particularly, but I will continue because I committed to it and I'm almost done. I have to say that the main reason for this is that this book has really stepped over my comfort zone for so many reasons that it's stuff that I don't want to read about in detail. It's stuff that I definitely don't even want to hear about. Yeah, it's too disturbing for me. So that said, I will keep reading it. I mean, you know, I am invested in the story and I'm curious to see where it goes. The violence seems a little senseless, I would say. I'm not really sure what the point is. I felt physically ill while reading this to the point that I actually feel nauseous right now, but we're gonna keep reading. So after this, I know things are gonna get better. I know a lot more about the books that I chose other than this one. I definitely went into this one blind. Somebody said, hey, you really like circus books? You'll love this book. And I respectfully disagree. I think that, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it's about the circus, but there's so many other aspects that, to me are just like really, really disturbing. I don't think that we shouldn't talk about difficult things in books, but at the same time, I do think that there's something to be said for it being a little graceful, perhaps spread out throughout the novel, and of course having like a purpose. I will update you guys tonight when I finally finish and finally, hopefully, get to read a book that I like a little bit more. So I will see you guys later. So it is the end of day 2 of the Reading Rush Challenge, and I have officially finished Geek Love. I just finished it a few minutes ago, and I'm glad it's over. Sometimes there's those books that you just wish you could unread, and it's definitely the case for me. I wasn't satisfied by the ending. There's not much to say on this one except for I found it repulsive, morally objectionable, nauseating, kind of hard to get through, not a great plot particularly, so I definitely would not recommend this book to basically anyone. Sometimes books just aren't for you. I would be very curious to hear from someone who actually liked this book. I would really like to hear what your thoughts are on it. I have a really hard time seeing who this book would be for, and I'm very curious what the appeal is exactly, because the premise was sort of intriguing to me, but when I actually started reading it, there were just moments where I felt like the scene was already shocking, the scene was already graphic, the scene was already illustrating something, and they took it way too far. Overall, it's probably the worst book I've ever read. So tonight, I still have a little bit of time. It's like 9:30 right now, so I'll probably just hit the ground running and start City of Thieves. And I will see you guys tomorrow about how far I ended up getting and my thoughts on that book so far. Bye-bye.